This is a classic textbook example of a song that's simply elevated and made better, objectively, by the bass line. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. I Choose is from the Offspring's fourth studio album, Ixnay on the Ombre, released in 1997. Now, what's funny about the Offspring is that I had no idea they were really considered punk rock until fairly recently. I mean, I'd always heard their big hits, Pretty Fly for a White Guy, and I had heard those songs for a long time, never really knew who the artist was. I eventually heard they were the Offspring, thought they were just another rock band. It was kind of the case with Blink-182, Green Day. They were just rock bands to me before I really knew about punk rock. And coming back to them now, I have a much different appreciation. I see them in a much different light, having some context in terms of how they contributed to the punk rock storyline. But because I'm already familiar with some of the bigger hits from the band, I was encouraged to check out somewhat of a deeper cut. So without further ado, here is I Choose from The Offspring. Just before Ubers. Oh, that's a perfect guitar tone. Loving this bass groove, but before we talk about that, I want to compliment the production. Those are some of my favorite guitar tones. It's mid-gainy, it's got drive, it's got grit, but it still has a natural clarity to it. Like I feel like I can hear every individual string being strummed and not just this kind of smear, if you will. And it's even better when it's complemented by a cutting, gritty, punchy bass tone, but it doesn't have so much bass. It's just kind of muddying up the blend of the guitar bass. So this is a picture perfect for the style guitar bass mix production-wise. And I love this being a textbook verse in the sense that you take away guitar, you just have bass, drums, and vocals. Even though the bass has energy, it has grit, the drums are playing intensely, the vocals have some intensity, it still feels dynamic just because you took away the guitars. So it's worth repeating and worth pointing out these really simple songwriting things that you don't have to necessarily dial back your tone or play quieter to have dynamics. Maybe just take away the guitars, take away something. It still achieves the same purpose for bringing down a verse, per se. I'm gonna go back and hear this bass line again because it kind of reeks of Motown funkiness. Little bits of chromaticism, passing tones, fitting in perfectly with some of those choppier, if you will, inner beats of the drums, you know. Just those inner E's and U's, the bass is locking into that, catching some passing tones, just tasty stuff. It's been a long time since I've listened to this band, so this is almost kind of brand new for me. Ooh. Okay, obviously you can see I'm playing with a pick. It's got that crunch. I'm gonna play it fingerstyle first, but here in D, that's kind of where we're at. Peppier D major. It's got a lot of chromaticism, a bit of that gurgle happening, which is just chromatic passing tones all in a row to get back to the one or get wherever you want. But I love the bounce. And I swear, if you roll down the tone knob, which is all I'm going to do, and played a little more fingerstyle maybe up here, now we're playing it. Now it's like a Motown bass line right out of Diana Ross and the Supremes or something. So I love that a bass tone can completely change the application of something, but still has some of those classic sounds baked into it. So I really like what's going on here. Let's keep it going. It's going down to the lower octave the second time. Clever stuff there. The last time I heard a major 5 used in this way was when I did Good Riddance a while back. I remember commenting on this same thing about normally a major 5 resolves to the 1. Let me hear it again. I think it did here, but when you put it next to the 6 chord, which is major, you have those 2 major chords a half step away. Sort of dipping into that minor territory for a second, and then going back to D major. I just love the color, that B flat added being thrown in there. And the guitar riff simplified and the bass kind of took off. That was its chance to start walking that line a bit more. Heard something like that going on. Let's hear it again. Cool little stuff going on here. Let's see, where were we? Yeah, all that stuff. Yes. Yeah, see, normally that major 5 would resolve to the minor 1, but we're in major. So just for one chord, they dip over into the D minor bank of notes. That's where that B flat major comes from. Because in the key of D major, we have B natural. Then we go back to the 5 chord, which is naturally major in a major key, but it feels like it's dipping into the major 5 that you would hear in D minor. And then when it goes back to major, you basically have 3 major chords in a row. So it's really bright, but adds a bit of attention despite being major chords. Basically what they're doing there. And it wraps it up perfectly nicely. Back to this funky ass bass line. Down an octave. Was that an edit there vocally? What was that? It must be a sensor of some sort. Okay. There it is again. I gotta say, this is very reflective of a pre-9/11 airport, a time capsule of airports back then. You'd be tackled doing that today. Cool bridge here. Okay, something else I'm noticing too that I like in terms of the way guitar and bass parts work together. Not talking about tones now, just the actual notes they're playing. So you have the guitar doing this major interval here in D major, and it goes up to the G, but stays on the D. So you have this third interval and a fourth interval. Perfect fourth kind of thing. But when it goes up to that G, it's making that fourth interval. That's when the bass goes down to C. So you effectively have this going on. If I were to try to play both parts at the same time. So the top note of the guitar and the bottom note on the bass create a C power chord for just a second. So you have those two notes kind of moving within the riff, and it kind of gives it that, I don't know, the way it just kind of shifts back and forth tonally. Really simple stuff. I'm getting ultra granular, but I'm always looking at how like certain riffs and parts complement each other, maybe how they combine to make something bigger chord-wise. And it's a simple thing here, but it works. It gives it that kind of movement, that shift happening. Yeah. See. All right, I gotta try to pick that now. Yeah, you got to really get that bounciness. And this is kind of where I start to fall apart as a pick player. A lot of that just subdividing, changing strings. It's not my forte, as I've always mentioned, but you can really dig into that rock side of funkiness, because when you play it with fingers, it tends to have that Motown vibe. But when you play it with a pick and you have a grittier tone, and I open the tone knob wide open, it falls more into that funk rock type of bass line. That kind of thing, just really bouncy. And another thing to point out, the walking bass line's happening right here. I love how it straightens out and loses all that bouncy, funky stuff as the drums start going straight, dunkum, dunkum. So the rhythm section just perfectly on the same wavelength here through each and every part. All that broken up stuff is gone. Ooh, riding on it. This is a classic textbook example of a song that's simply elevated and made better objectively by the bass line. Because if you took that bass line out, you just have a standard plain old rock song. And it's that bounciness that gave it the infectious groove. I've made that pun twice in the video now. I have done them on the channel. So pun sort of intended. But, you know, there could have easily been a watered down bass line to happen behind that guitar riff. You know, the bass line could have just been. But all that moving around and that Motown flair, you know, just makes the guitar riff more sexy by what's being put under it to support it. They complement each other. So this is a great example of like an independent bass line. It's not really following anybody or anything. It's outlining the chords. It's staying true to the rhythm and the groove, but it has its own identity within the song. Give me more songs like this. These are what I love reviewing, because this showcases how a bass can be its own voice, truly be playing a bass solo, for being technical here, but be a perfect addition to the song and the song's arranging and composition. And it just gave the song the energy it had. So really cool to check the Offspring off here on the channel. I know it's sort of an obligatory band, but thank you guys for hanging out with me today. If you'd like to support the channel further, please come find us on Patreon. I do full albums just like this, but it's a whole album and it's really long. And we've done about 19 or 20 albums so far. They've pretty much all been punk. So if you're into that thing, come hang out with our community. And if you enjoyed this, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I love you all. We'll see you in the next one.